The hell are you supposed to be? I'm vengeance.
Holy f— oh my god! Literally was my response watching the Batman teaser trailer go live during DC FanDome. Honestly, we have no choice but to stand after that stellar trailer. Welcome back, Gothamites. If you're new here, hi. I'm London, aka History of the Batman. And to answer your question, yes, I have been History of the Batman since 2013. I did not just randomly change my name because this movie is coming out next year. Believe it or not, I have been asked that a few times. August 22nd was the first day of DC FanDome, which was called Hall of Heroes. There were so many amazing panels and so much Batman content that I do want to dive into, from the Gothamites video game to having a person of color don the Batman mantle in regular continuity happening next year in comics. But for this video, I just need to discuss the teaser trailer, which I'm very surprised that we even had a teaser trailer, considering the movie is only 25 to 30% finished, courtesy of COVID halting production. But production is starting back next month, so that's exciting. Of Matt Reeves' DC Comics film, The Batman, which stars Robert Pattinson as the title character. And it'll be hitting theaters October 1st, 2021. For this video, I wanted to talk about the teaser trailer, break down key elements within the trailer, discuss a few fun Batman Easter eggs and other things you may have missed, and overall Matt Reeves' vision that he discussed during the DC FanDome panel about his iteration of the Batman and what we could possibly expect for this new big screen Batman. But before we dive into some goodness, it's so good, like, we'll get there in a minute. Why don't you subscribe to this channel and become a part of this wonderful Gothamite community? In yesterday's 30-minute panel, the host of DC FanDome, Aisha Tyler, who is such a nice person, talks with director Matt Reeves, who answers several fan questions sent in, which ranged from early concepts of the Batmobile and the Bat Cycle to how he wanted to visualize his personal Gotham City within this Batman universe. And Reeves provided tons of insight into the Batman film and what him, Pattinson, and the entire production wanted to bring to this new version of this classic 81-year-old character. One thing to note, especially if you have watched the Batman teaser trailer, is that this is set in Batman Year 2. So while he isn't fresh on these streets in Gotham and probably getting his own ass kicked because he's a new vigilante, he has a tad bit of experience, but is still kind of fumbling here and there. I think the biggest takeaway from seeing Pattinson in action in the trailer and connecting that to Year 2 is that he is so gritty. That fits very well within the noir vibe and aesthetic that you feel while the Batman film is in Year 2 of the Batman's crusade for justice. There will also be a Gotham City PD TV show that I believe will be streaming on HBO Max, because that makes sense, that Reeves is helping produce, that is within the Batman universe. That show is going to be set in Batman Year 1, which of course is inspired by Miller and Mazzucchelli and maybe even Snyder and Capullo's Zero Year. While these two projects are in different times, a common factor that you will see in both the film and the TV show is a focus on the deep corruption within Gotham City, and especially the GCPD, which is a very common theme. There's a lot of corruption in Gotham City because, like I've said many times before on this channel, Gotham City is trash. Another major point that I thoroughly appreciate that Matt Reeves discussed, he tweeted it the moment he said it because I was just so overjoyed, is the fact that one piece of the Batman mythos from comics that did inspire the creation and the plot of the Batman is Darwin Cook's graphic novel Batman Ego. I am a huge fan of Darwin Cook. I love his work. I forever will. And Batman Ego is one of the best Bruce Wayne and Batman stories that you can read if you do want a deep dive into the persona. Already did a deep dive into what I truly believe is the perfect Bruce Wayne story. So if you are interested in that, I'll put it in the description below. But piggybacking off of what Matt Reeves said about Batman Ego, he also discussed that this film will focus on the soul of Bruce Wayne. And this could mean different things. This could be addressing both Bruce's personal crusade for justice as the Dark Knight, and this can also take a dive into the history of the Wayne family itself, learning more about Bruce Wayne the man and not just Batman the hero. The biggest things that I took away from Reeves during the panel is the fact that he said that the plot of the movie, while we don't know 100% what it's about, we will be speculating in this video though, is that Batman has to solve several murders that all connect to a history of Gotham City. There are several stories that not only highlight the Wayne family, but also their connection to Gotham City and its history and evolution, from a great early 90s arc, The Destroyer, the arc Gates of Gotham, which actually highlights Dick Grayson's Batman, and of course the now modern classic Court of Owls. From Matt Reeves' discussion, I would say that any of those stories are 100% up for grabs in terms of influencing what we see in this new Batman movie. Since we were talking about murders in Gotham, let's jump into a quick trailer breakdown and what you may have missed in that 2 minutes and 30 seconds of pure awesomeness. Even in the beginning of the trailer, you see that the Riddler is running the show. He is the main antagonist, who is played by Paul Dano, who Matt Reeves praised during his panel, saying you have never seen a Riddler like this before, which I love to hear that. Oh, and by the way, I saw many people not knowing that the Riddler is literally the main guy. The man who murdered this man in the beginning of the trailer. The man who's speaking throughout the trailer. That is the Riddler. He is not in his usual purple and green and question marks everywhere and bowler hat, and no. That is an important thing to note, because Matt Reeves did state that since we are in year 2, we will be getting more origin stories for Riddler and Penguin and Catwoman, and their guises aren't established yet when we begin the film. That's going to grow within the movie. That is something very important to note if you want to go back and watch the trailer and you're wondering, why doesn't he look like the Riddler? And why does he have like a mask on? And why is duct tape like his thing? Duct tape is his weapon of choice that you see throughout the trailer. I'm sure there's some symbolism there somewhere. I just haven't figured it out yet. But we see that the Riddler has clearly murdered a man and has duct taped his entire face and wrote "no more lies" on it as the trailer goes on, and the FBI and the GCPD, including Jeffrey Wright's Commissioner James Gordon, which, oh my god, I was so excited to see him in the trailer because I wasn't expecting really to see him. I really wasn't expecting a trailer, so all of it was very surprising. Once they arrive to his house, we see that there are walls that have newspaper clippings. That first wall of clippings discusses Gotham Mayor Don Mitchell Jr. and all of the wonderful accomplishments he's done, including being re-elected for a 3rd term. It seems that the very lavish home that we are in is the home of a now dead Mayor Mitchell. The next shot focuses on a card that is addressed to the Batman. The images on the top of the card are a skeleton and an owl, and at the bottom it says "Who." From listening to Reeves discuss the Batman during the DC Fandom panel, this is definitely an Easter egg and a nod to the Court of Owls, which would 100% make sense if we are diving into a history of Gotham City, considering the Court of Owls is an urban legend of Gotham. It would just be fitting to add Court of Owls within this narrative if we are diving into how Gotham has evolved, whether for better or for worse. Another Easter egg you can see if you go to the next part of the crime scene where they're taking photos. Blood, I would assume, splattered on the wall. There is a framed newspaper clipping and it says Maroni Drug Bust. If that name sounds familiar to you, it should, because Sal Maroni is the crime boss that threw acid on District Attorney Harvey Dent's face, which aided in Dent's transformation into the now classic Batman villain Two-Face. We see Two-Face in this movie Probably not, but considering this is definitely a nod to other Batman mythology, he can 100% be referenced, and he may come at a later time, especially if this particular Batman universe will be expanded into more films. The trailer then turns to the Batman arriving and learning that the Riddler has left him a literal card that has strange symbols etched on the inside, and Gordon's like, what's up with that? Let's focus on the first shot of the Batman that you really see. If you haven't seen the initial images of the chest emblem or even the cowl, whether in the 10-second really short teaser or even on the set photos with Pattinson's stunt double, you can see that the suit is probably high tech and has a very mechanical feel in terms of the chest plate, the chest emblem itself, which is very reminiscent of both the Batman Arkham video game emblem and the emblem of the New 52 and even DC Rebirth. You can see that his cowl is probably made out of a leather material. I love his cowl ears. They are so much taller than the modern Batman that we've seen. The fact that we are going a little bit higher is very reminiscent of an early Batman. If you look at the Golden Age Batman, he has very high cowl ears. We are doing a year 2 style Batman. I love to see callbacks to a Golden Age Batman or to an early style Batman. As the trailer switched gears and we see a press conference discussing the mayor's death, and then we see Bruce Wayne riding on a motorcycle or the Bat Cycle. Is he calling it the Bat Cycle? If he doesn't, I'm still gonna call it the Bat Cycle. And he's actually driving through what looks like a cemetery, because even though this is year 2, we may not even see the Thomas and Martha Wayne and the Bloody Pearls and Joe Chill and the murder that we see in every single Batman movie since the dawn of time. I would assume that just adding in that cemetery is just saying, Bruce Wayne's parents are dead, don't forget it! Because right after we go right into the Batcave. This Batcave is perfect for a year 2 Batman. It's not a lavish and very illustrious Batcave. It's very low tech. It's very in the underground caverns. There isn't a huge Bat computer. It's literally just the Batmobile, some little computer, and a whole bunch of lights to illuminate this dark as hell cavern. And that's something that makes sense to me in terms of Batman. Either his Batcave or his weaponry should not be 100% decked out yet. I feel like that needs to evolve just as the Batman mantle does. But what I do like, especially within this frame, is that you see a long staircase going up to Wayne Manor and then coming down into the Batcave. Usually when we see the Batcave, you have to go through a grandfather clock, or you have to play a piano to open a certain door, or even in Val Kilmer's case, you have to sit in a chair and push a button and it shoots you into the Batcave. Do we know the exact entrance of the Batcave yet for this movie? No. It could totally 100% have a grandfather clock. I just like new things added within showcasing how the Batman functions within his universe. Within the trailer, at the mayor's funeral, our first solid look at Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne happens. And you know what? I'm not mad at it. I also like the fact that when a huge car drives through the church, Bruce protects a woman and pushes her out the way to make sure she doesn't get hit by the car. See, he's Batman even though he's not in the guise. You know, we love to see it. And then once again, you see someone that the Riddler has either threatened to kill or is part of his plan, has another card for the Batman. And once again, there's that duct tape. But this trailer wasn't just about the Riddler and his plan to try to expose the lies happening in Gotham. In particular, part of the trailer, Riddler discusses how the Batman can be trying to provide justice for Gothamites and his city when he may be part of protecting the corruption in Gotham, and how is that justice? While that theme is very key, there are also other characters, including Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman, which, oh my god, I loved the few frames that we did get of Selina Kyle. What I did pick up about the trailer in focusing on Catwoman is that they highlight her eyes, which I love because Catwoman is a very feline, femme fatale type character within this universe. And so the fact that there are several frames From her breaking in to probably steal some jewelry and some money because that's what we do, to her riding on a motorcycle, to even her confronting the Batman, which, oh my goodness, those like what, 4 seconds in that trailer where they connect and then they see each other. Bat and cat, I love it. And does she need to be with Batman for me to enjoy this? Of course not. We love an independent jewel thief, for real, we do. But the vibes, we have to support also the Bat and the cat because they're perfect for one another. I am so excited to see them interact because I always love seeing different interpretations of Batman and Catwoman's relationship because it's so complicated. I thought the touch of focusing on Selena Kyle's eyes, especially in her cowl, which is so cool. Do you see the silhouette? Do you see it? I absolutely love the little ears. I love it all. I'm so excited to see how her visual will upgrade as we move along within the movie. You also do get to see Oswald Cobblepot, and of course he's not in his penguin guise because like I said, we're gonna get all of that origin. I have to applaud the makeup and everything that they did for Colin Farrell because Colin Farrell does not look like this man that they have in this movie. It's a complete transformation. I particularly loved several stills within the teaser trailer that did focus on Pattinson's Batman in terms of the actual visual, like the cowl and focusing on the chest emblem and focusing solely on detail within his particular aesthetic as this Dark Knight. I really love this vibrant red scene that showcases Batman's cowl. Love this particular scene that has him in the rain and you can really see just the grit. Although we see these type of scenes, it jumps to Batman literally combating the GCPD. That's not surprising. If you talk about a year 1 or even a year 2 story, everyone besides Commissioner Gordon doesn't trust the Batman. They believe that he's actually a danger more than helpful. It takes a little bit of time and Commissioner Gordon's influence to convince the Gotham City Police Department that Batman is their friend and not their foe. Batman and the GCPD are definitely going to clash, as you see for about 3 or 4 seconds in the trailer. But then the best scene in the entire trailer happened. And the Batman is fighting some type of gang. And this scene is when I realized that the Batman is going to be an outstanding version of this character. From looking at Pattinson's Batman's fighting style, and in particular, which is where I totally see the really grit and grimy just scrappiness of his Batman, his year 2 Batman, and literally pummeling this man. But what's the most important is that when the rest of the goons who see that this man just got his ass handed to him were like, "Who are you?" He says, "I am vengeance." I was sold. I was already all in because it's a Batman movie and of course I'm gonna be all in, but I'm really so excited for this movie just from that one particular moment. This is probably the easiest Easter egg you can get from this teaser trailer. Him saying "I am vengeance" is very reminiscent of the 1992 Batman the Animated Series episode Nothing to Fear, where Bruce Wayne's Batman says, "I am vengeance, I am night, I am Batman," which is of course voiced by Kevin Conroy. Go to anything where Kevin Conroy is, he has to say that line because it is now iconic. The fact that that is a subtle and yet still very powerful line for Batman to say, that is a very good tone to put in the trailer. You also get a really cool look at the Batmobile, which I like. You have to remember, this is not a Ben Affleck, been in Gotham for 20 years, have all of my ish together Batman. This is year 2 Batman. He is a grit and grime Batman. Has a very cool balance of, oh, that car is normal, to, whoa, that's not normal. I do not want a year 2 Batman to have everything in his arsenal, in his Batcave. I don't want him to have the perfect Batmobile. I don't want his suit to even be perfect. Which, by the way, speaking of the suit and talking about how it has a very mechanical feel, there are moments in the trailer where he is literally being shot at, and not only do the bullets pop off, but they also shoot from his suit itself. His suit is weaponized. I am very excited to see more of what his bat suit can do. Why his chest emblem looks kind of like gunmetal. The very end of the trailer has Bruce Wayne's Batman within his Batcave, and you hear a voice, which is the Riddler, discussing how him and the Batman are connected, and maybe the Batman doesn't even know how. Focusing on the no more lies aspect of the trailer. If you go off Matt Reeves' comments during the DC Fandom panel that discusses Gotham City murders illustrating a history of this city, which for both the film and the TV in this universe has a major focus on the corruption within the Gotham City Police Department. The political platform that gives a big stage to debut the corrupt Gotham City underground. And even Riddler calling the Batman his special friend enforces the idea that these lies that the Riddler is trying to showcase is connected with the Batman in some way, and that he will be a vital part in understanding the entire plot of who is behind these crimes and these murders within the city. Because of this, we can see the possible exploration of not only Gotham's past, but also the Wayne family itself, which dives into the soul of Bruce Wayne literally and figuratively. Honestly, I am ecstatic. I'm so excited to see more of this film. I think Pattinson's Batman will bring something new to the Batman film franchise that we have been seeing since 1943. In past interviews, Pattinson would discuss that he doesn't believe that Batman is actually a hero. And I think you can feel that in his performance, even in the teaser trailer. He wants to protect Gotham, and he's protecting Gotham in a brutal and gritty nature that definitely lines up with the city itself that he's protecting. Matt Reeves said in the panel that he believes that all of the characters that are presented in this movie and the movie itself will showcase a Batman mythology in a way that we, the audience, fans, have not seen before. I honestly think that us Batman fans got so spoiled with this Batman teaser trailer. I am so positive and optimistic about Pattinson's Batman. I literally cannot wait to see more. Thank you guys so much for watching this trailer breakdown of the Batman from the DC Fandom event. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the Batman teaser trailer and what you think about Pattinson's Dark Knight. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. As always, all of my social media is linked in the description below, including Instagram at History of the Batman. So why don't you go to follow and become a Gothamite? Check out the rest of my Batman videos on this channel. And of course, please subscribe so you can become a part of this Batman community. It would mean so much to me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will have much more DC Fandom coverage and History of the Batman very soon right here on YouTube. Remember, Gothamites, all about peace, love, and Batman. Bye.
What?